Yes, but helping them to find connections.
Mm.
We have discussed things like uh, how one culture moved in and became the dominant culture. Well, what happened to the people that were there before? And
Mm.
we can see, some kind similar parallels um, when we're talking about a culture that is uh, uses the media to become more
Mm.
dominant. Well, how do you get around that? How do you navigate around that without
Mhm.
actually even mentioning specific things? They are
Hmm.
making these connections. They're
Oh,
coming up,
yeah.
and I'm asking them, where do you see this kind of activity, in
Hmm.
your life? And I'm also a very cultural historian, and
Mm.
so we want to find out like what the Mesopotamians ate for dinner,
Oh.
that sort of thing. So
Uh-huh.
being able to find out that certain spices came when one group of people invaded another country. They brought these spices. So
Yes.
we're able to
Yeah.
see how all of society changes
Hmm.
just from our multicultural connections. So,
Yes. Yeah. And to value their differences. I think we don't do that enough
right.
in society. We always say, well, this is you and this is me, and therefore we're different and we can't get along. But
We have
what
so many more commonalities than we do,
Yes, yes, and so I
but
love that
missing the larger.
presentation that you have your kids do, just introduce themselves to, because it is good to know that, we have these things in common, and yet we have very different lives, different maybe you live in different places, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some point that you can come together and have that mutual understanding to start out with, because we kind of look at somebody and say, well, they just aren't like me, so therefore we just aren't going to get along. And to teach our kids that lesson when they're young will just open doors in their future
Yes.
that unfortunately a lot of their peers will close, because they've been taught if they aren't just like you, then you're just you're not going to be able to have any conversation. So
We
yeah.
talk a lot about recognizing um, within ourselves when we begin to think of another group of people or other people as the other,
Ah, yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
where those walls begin to come up, and in that way they can recognize their own walls
Mm-hmm.
and begin to
Yes.
see.
Mm-hmm.